Stay tuned now for the Racing for Heroes radio show with host Brett Morash on 1460 WVOX.
All right, hey, Racing for Heroes fans. It is October 8th, 2021. We are here at WVOX 1460 AM and streaming worldwide at VOX.com. And we're on Facebook Live today. We are so excited to have our longtime friend Jimmy Sprecher on. He is a drag driver and a former MP in the U.S. Army. And this past weekend, he was the impetus, the aegis, if you will, behind our racing down in Roxborough Motorsports Park. Jimmy, are you on the line, man?
Yes, sir, I am. Good morning, brother.
Good morning, Jimmy. Hey, listen, that was an amazing opportunity, and I don't think people understand how big a deal Street Outlaws was. And maybe you could explain what they are.
Yeah. Before we do that, man, could I give a little shout-out to all the people that made this happen real quick?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Jody Williams. You know, he's the owner of Roxborough Motorsports Park and Rocky Branch Contractors. Obviously, we got to thank JJ the boss, the MSO family for coming out and putting on that race there. You know, he had his right-hand woman, Pam, and the man, David Dickey, man, that guy was helping us out as long as that, you know, as well as that. And we couldn't have done it without them. For our family, the Racing for Heroes family, you know, like I said, we were truly grateful that Jody asked us and to come on out there and help out with that. You know, we had Pete Guthrie, Ken Hines, Emily and Barry, Ian Ogden, Chris and Cindy Moore, that they all helped with the parking. And, of course, we had the two main women, you know, Shelley Brooks and Janet Moore. Them two ladies kept everybody in check and got them all parked. And we also had the Roxborough crew. You know, we had Mr. Wayne. You know, that's Jody's right-hand man.
Yeah.
Lorenzo, Jason, Matt, David, John, the two Johns, Tammy, Miss O, David. You know, they made it happen. And Miss Angela Dawn Mason, you know, she had like 2 months. I'm sure she would never want to do it again like that. But she made it happen. And we couldn't have done it without them, man. And it was, you know, like I said, I hope I hit everybody. I hope I didn't miss anyone, you know, for the Roxborough family.
Wait, did you get Shelley, your girlfriend?
Yes, she is. Yeah,
all right, that's making sure.
That's my better half, and they were calling her Shelley, the sheriff, before the weekend was over. She was handling business. Her and Miss Janet kept everybody in check. And communication, just like in the Army, man, in the military, it's key in the civilian world. Them two communicated well and got the job done. And then, you know, last but most definitely not least, I got to thank Mike. You know, without Mike, I wouldn't be fortunate enough to do what we're doing right now and have purpose in life again. You know, like he always says, he's not just, you know, the founder. He's a client. And, you know, I may be a family member, but I'm a client as well. You know, they got me out there, got my head screwed on straight, and got me back in the game of life. And that's what we're trying to do out there, show veterans that, hey, man, it ain't over. You know, a lot. All of us out there have been where you're at, and, you know, you can bounce back from it. And come on and check us out.
100%. 100%. All right, Jimmy, back to the question here. What is Street Outlaws? How is that different than what you normally do?
You know, like we said in the past, I do that bracket racing. We put a number on the car. We leave at different times, and who gets to the finish line first without going faster than that number on your window, that's bracket racing. This Street Outlaw stuff, JJ's is different than some others. You know, he does an arm drop. There's no tree to leave or nothing like that. It's the drop of his arms. It's heads up. You leave at the first, you know, at the same time, and the first one to the finish line wins. End of story. And it is a, you know, totally different track surface. We run where they glue the track, they scrape the track and put rubber on it. These boys and girls out there putting it down, you know, like I said, it's totally different, man. There's no prep in that track. You know, the tracks, before they get there, the owner-operators of the track scrape all that rubber and glue off, and then they just send us down there. And you better be up on that wheel, because, you know, those folks that watch it on TV, when JJ says it's the real deal, no prep surface, it's sketchy. It's true. I found out real quick.
Oh, yeah. I really thought that it seemed a little different than what you'd been doing, especially with the arm drop and stuff like that. But isn't there a way that you can kind of even out the odds a little bit, though? Like you can ask for the drop, or staging a little different than others?
Yeah, some of them events you can say, hey man, I don't have the power like me. I was way under horsepowered for them boys and girls. I mean, they got their stuff together and their equipment is top notch, and it goes fast. We were way under horsepower. We were hoping they miss a tune.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of the events they'll say, hey, give me 2 car lengths. Set the slower car out which I am the slower car.
Yeah.
This particular one, I was told that there's going to be heads up. That's all there is to it. Brung what you brung, and hopefully you got the faster piece. And then, like I said, with his arm drops, it's chase is a race. If I were to lead before his arms came down, what he does is he raises his arms up, drops them, and then you're supposed to take off. If you leave before his arms come down and the other car chases you, well, it's a race. The race is on. It doesn't matter. Well, like in bracket racing, if you leave too early,
you're done.
You've done lost the race. It's over.
Yeah, because I was impressed because I think one of the things that we discussed, and I think the video that I happened to get showed the Axe lady's car, who I think you were competing against in that particular race.
Yeah, Sarah Jo, her and the Axe, man, they put a good tune in that car, and they put one on me.
Yeah, listen, man, that was like watching Grease Lightning. I mean, the fastest thing I ever seen, besides a missile coming off the rail back in the Navy, was that car.
These things are rocket ships, man, and it's why we do it. It's an experience, the ride, all the hard work. It's like you see all the memes all the time. Why do I do this on Sunday? You're like, oh, this, that. And then come Monday, all right, I got to get the car ready for next week.
Well, that's a good point. Like, let's talk about why we do it, because your car is not just Jimmy's Dodge or Jimmy's Mopar. You're riding in honor of a guy you served with who was killed in action, and you also have the tribute trailer wrapped with all the names of the combat killed in Afghanistan, Iraq, or war and terror. Excuse me. Yeah, we do, and I'm truly honored. I've done some pretty honorable things in my day, and this ranks right up there with them, man. Going down the road with that trailer, I do it with pride and an honor to remember all them that we have lost, that have sacrificed and given us our freedoms. I mean, it is truly an honor to do that, and I will continue to do it as long as I possibly can, man. I mean, when people come up to that trailer, we had a guy this weekend, he was just sitting there for like 15, 20 minutes just staring at the trailer. And I've seen that look before. He knows somebody on that list. And I was like, hey, brother, I'm here for you, man. I'll let you be. After about 15 or 20 minutes, I'm like, hey, why don't you come give me a quick hand real quick? I was changing some tires on the car, and it just seemed to lift him out of he was in that zone, that remembrance zone, which is a good thing. But I was like, hey, why don't you come over here and give me a hand real quick? Can you hand me this? Can you hand me that? And he dived right in, total stranger. And, that's awesome stuff, man. It gives me a sense of pride to say I can do stuff like that. And he came back several times after that and was like, thank you, man. Appreciate, remembering our brothers and our sisters. Yeah.
And, I had aunts out there this weekend and uncles out there this weekend. And they're like, that's my nephew. I've had neighbors. It's like, hey, that kid lived down the street from me. He was a good kid. And thank you for remembering him. I mean, once you experience it, you'll understand it. And, man, we always invite everybody to come on over to the trailer. If you see that trailer, come on over, and we will make time the best we can to sit down and talk to you or even maybe ask you for a hand. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe some people don't want to get their hands dirty. They might have to be careful about that.
They might be a little intimidated by your dragster, though, too, Jimmy. Come on. It's not something everyone's going to be like, hey, man, throw me a wrench.
Hey, I don't mind. I don't mind at all, And like I said, I've had good success with that. People are usually pretty willing to help. We're not going to have them put tunes in the car or nothing like that.
Right.
They're more than glad to help. Say, hey, can you roll that tire over here, or can you hand me that wrench there? And it makes them feel like part of the crew, and that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
We want to get them out there and give them a little taste of what we're doing out there at Racing for.
Yeah, and it was cool, like, because I was walking alongside, obviously, on the way up, but, like, you had Ian, who was actually doing direct help, like he was adjusting your tire pressure all the way up until you were really staged. I mean, like, just putting just a little bit less in there as the tires were heating up going across the tarmac.
Oh yeah, Ian's been helping me for a few years now, and man, we work together real good, and I'm glad we met up at Racing for Heroes. That's how I met Ian. We ended up finding out we only live a couple miles apart, but without Racing for Heroes, we would have never known that.
Well, and Ian's a trooper because not only was he helping you with your racing, but he must have spent 3 12-hour days out in the sun parking cars in grass lots. And
Oh yeah, man.
not all those people were awesome to deal with. I'll leave it at
No,
that.
no, I got a different outlook for racers and spectators. Love them, glad they came out, man, but they made us work. That's for sure.
No, listen, I mean, some of them were really gracious. I think you probably saw my 4Runner. I had to pull Mike's big trailer behind it, but I parked next to these two old guys, and they were making me burgers and trying to make me drink beers, and I'm like, no, man, I gotta drive on rural roads with this trailer in the dark. So no thanks.
Yeah, it's just part of the gig, man.
Yeah.
To put on the whole event, it takes a 100% team effort, and
Yeah.
We become family afterwards.
No, and I think that that's an important piece of racing, especially what we saw there. Is it's like a community event because you had people there that were like from that part of North Carolina, but you also had people that were following the circuit, and it just so happened it was in Roxborough, but they come from Tennessee, Texas, wherever.
Yeah, I mean that was amazing. I didn't know it was that big of a deal. I mean, he's got his TV show where that's everybody will travel wherever they have to be on that. But I didn't know his arm drops were as big as they were, and I think we ranked the Roxborough Motorsports Park event ranked right up there with the best of them.
Yeah, and it was listen, it was 6,000 people easily there that night.
I believe there had to be.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, we knew that the parking was completely packed. I mean, to the point where they had to open up that field, and we were worried people's catalytic converters were going to make the grass catch fire. It was that.
I've seen that happen.
Well, we would have definitely made the news then. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. But luckily that didn't happen. The event went off well. Everybody put an amazing amount of effort in, and hopefully he comes back, man. I hope he comes back, brother.
Oh yeah, for sure. And listen, I thought it was a great event. I'm looking forward to next year, and hopefully we'll see that again.
Roger that.
All right, well, Jimmy, I got to let you go because guess who we have coming up after you?
The man Tony Lacy.
The man Tony Lacy. So I think he actually prefers to be referred to as the Tony Lacy. So we'll let him know that. All right, thanks, Jimmy.
All right, brother.
All right.
Thank you. God bless.
All right, my friend. All right, everyone. Well, obviously we've already introduced Tony, but what you don't know is that not only is Tony just a great man about town, he is a rally car racer. And he was an intelligence officer working with the special operations community with a Det Alpha. But I'm going to let Tony explain that a little better. So, Tony, are you on the line?
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Tony, I appreciate you being on here. I know that you put a lot of prep into this. As you know, though, this is radio, so all the prep that you did to look good is going to go for naught today. But we're glad to have you here.
I appreciate that. Hey, and I want to say a big thanks to you for the work you put in for last weekend. Had 2 events running there, and it seemed like you kept everything going real smooth. Hyperfest, we had the rally folks, me and Adam, and all the tag-alongs up there participate in Hyperfest, and then I know you gave Jimmy a lot of support out there, so we all appreciate all the hard work you put in.
Oh, you're way too kind, but really, I think we all have to look to Mike Evok, who's maybe he's listening right now, but he really is the guy that is the grand master of all of that. And I think a lot of us are along for the ride. But I think more importantly, though, that Mike has an ability to energize the right people so that you don't have to necessarily have a lot of direction because people are kind of take charge and move out. I think in a lot of the folks that we work with.
I think that's that's one of the best parts of the organization is it's it puts us back in those situations where we have to, if we want to get something done, we either jump in and help or it doesn't get done.
Oh, for sure. But Tony, let's quickly talk about what did you do in the military? So I know you were in the intelligence community, but you were doing direct support of special forces operations, right?
Right. I was a SOD A Special Operations Team Alpha. We're a SIGINT collector, and a little bit of EW, electronic warfare. So we were organic to Special Forces Battalion. So we're intel weenies, stuck out there with the snake eaters and tag along with trying to keep them safe and then give them targets to deal with. So it was a great career. I did 22 years, and most of that time was in special operations, either at the Special Forces group level or up at the command.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have traded for anything. It was a good career. A lot of friends, both SF and on the intel side.
Sure.
I got to do the 12-hour shifts in England doing my real intel stuff, and then the tactical world is where I really preferred to be.
Yeah.
And that's actually how I ended up with racing, because of the tactical experiences.
Oh, well, that's interesting segue there. Although I did want to say that I'm a huge fan of electronic warfare. It's one of the things I did as a ship guy, and I did some work when I was a researcher for the Navy in electronic warfare. So I'm always, anytime you want to talk about propagation of antennas, maybe we'll have that as another show, Tony. We can talk about that.
Well, that's still my profession. I'm in the defense industry now, so I work for a major defense contractor, and I help get the right equipment in the right hands to get the right job done.
Well, I'll tell you this, Tony. You'll probably appreciate this. So I've been out of the Navy now almost 9 years. When I retired myself, but I'm seeing ships that are coming out now that have antennas that I'm like, what does that do? Because I used to be able to look at an antenna and tell you what it does, but now there's stuff on those ships I have no idea what it is. So I don't know if you're that old yet, but that's how I feel.
So I've been out 10 years-ish, or 8-9 years. I tell you what, the advancements in a thing called beam forming, little geek,
Yeah.
Forming and stuff has really allowed antennas to change shape and form. So
It's amazing.
But
Amazing.
Rupert,
That's for another show, though. That's for another show. So anyway, but let's talk about, how did you get into rally racing? How did that happen?
Well, it's kind of a long but short story. In 2006, in Afghanistan, the convoy I was in, it was actually, we were doing a movement to contact. My vehicle was the vehicle that they decided to pick first.
Mm.
We took a glancing blow from an IED, kind of followed by some RPGs, and I took a combat nap. And when I woke up in the vehicle full of smoke and everything, I had a hard time getting out of the vehicle.
Hmm.
So months later, I was getting an MRI done on my shoulder, and they realized that I had a severe anxiety, claustrophobia, from probably directly related back to that experience. I never had a problem before.
Yeah.
So the years go along, a few more deployments, I retire, and I was just tired of this feeling that I got every time I got small cars, and anytime I was around, hot, in a small car, it was hot and everything. So I decided I had to deal with that, and I'd always been interested in rally racing since I was stationed in England. So I got on a website, and I just put a thing out there that I wanted to help out with somebody, and one of the local guys out of Charleston picked me up on his crew, and I started crewing for him.
Hmm.
And it just happened to be that his entire crew was all veterans. A guy named Eric really helped out the veterans community here in North and South Carolina. And after about a year of that, I'm like, man, I'm not really the sit in the service area type of guy. I'm kind of the guy that likes to get out and do things. So I decided that I'm going to try this. So I built a car. Me and Barry Pilcher, we built a car along with the help from about 8 other veterans. The crew came together around that, so forcing myself to get into the car was dealing with that anxiety, the resulting PTSD from those experiences, and it has that therapy. I call it rehabilitation.
Yeah,
has
right.
has helped me through those experiences. Now, and I will say it was my first or second season. I actually climbed in the car. We were heading out for the start of the day. I climbed in, and it's just this anxiety just freaking jumped on me, and I climbed immediately out of the car.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I don't think we're racing. And Barry was my co-driver then, and Barry looked at me, and he's like, I got you, man. Get back in the car. If anything happens, I'm here right next to you. I'm like, we got this. So I got back in the car, and we we did pretty good until the end of the day when I crashed out. But anyway.
But that wasn't because of PTSD. That was just bad driving.
Right. That's, it's confidence error. I faster and faster, and small mistakes become big mistakes. And
yeah.
I basically took my rear right wheel off.
Oh wow!
Disconnected. The car was just barely hanging on. So,
yikes.
But so it's not just the racing. It's the racing having somebody in the car with you. It's the whole process of forcing myself, along with the co-driver too. They're all my co-drivers are veterans, except for one. He was a crazy Irish guy,
but Irish people grow up with rally racing, so like their brains are wired for that.
Yeah, I actually have PTSD from having him as a co-driver, but my current co-driver is actually not a U.S. Army veteran, but a Romanian Army veteran.
Oh wow, cool.
So Racing for Heroes is an international, organization. But yeah, so that's how I kind of got into rally and why I stick with it and help these other guys get into the cars. We have 2 cars in the we call it the RFH Rally Team. Of course, we help out RFH as we can, and then they help us out when they can. And we got Adam Benaway that drives the other car, along with sometimes Jordan drives it. Both all those guys are active duty, and they give a good showing every time they go out. And they're much better drivers than I am. I'm just thinking that they're probably going to take my car away from me one day and go out and actually win some trophies.
But you can be there to help people get into it, and I think that's important because, to your point, you had a traumatic incident in a vehicle, in a tactical situation, and one of the ways that mental health professionals help, and this actually came out of research with the Vietnam generation, is that exposure therapy, where you're putting people back into that situation. And I think people do it on different ways. It's like I don't think you know this, and it might be crazy, but like I don't like speaking in front of big crowds, and so that's why I actually like doing karaoke, because I know how to sing and it gets me in front of a crowd. And and it's one of those things that you can go up there and just kind of try to be yourself, but when it comes to like what you're talking about, you're trying to roll back the impact of a traumatic situation that goes to the very core of the brain, with the amygdala. So serious stuff, man. I mean, like a lot of our motorsports therapy revolves around that.
Right. I mean, you get the adrenaline going. I mean, I was a paratrooper for 21 years of my 22-year career. I did when I retired. I had a deficiency of adrenaline.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of things that kind of rolled into stuff, and I was driving my wife crazy, and she actually gave me permission to build a race car, and I don't think she understood everything involved.
How hard can it be?
Yeah,
right.
But my biggest supporter in all this that I do is my wife and now my kids.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you still have little ones, right? I did middle school, right? Is that what I kind of remember?
Oh, they're still in primary school.
Oh, primary school.
I'll be 50 next year, and I have a 3rd grader and a 1st grader.
Nice. So. It's fun age. But that's great, Tony. Now, so we're getting to the last couple minutes of the show, Tony. So let's just real quickly talk about, like, if someone's interested though in getting into rally racing in a minute, where should they start looking?
Well, if they're a veteran or even civilian, they're welcome to reach out to us. I have a Facebook page, Rally for the Troops.
Mm-hmm.
The best way to get started in rally in general is to find a rally team and volunteer with that team as a crew member, or find a local rally. Sandblast Rallies are a local one here in South Carolina or anywhere, and go to their page and sign up on their volunteer list, and you get out there and you learn about rally and you meet the teams. And it benefits you not only in the knowledge portion, but like that's what I did. And when it came time to build a car, there's a lot of wrecked cars out there sitting in people's backyards that they don't want to touch. And it's a lot easier to pick up parts that you need for entry-level racing. It really keeps the costs down. And a lot of folks, they get into rally. They do one rally and they understand that it's not for them.
Mm-hmm.
They get NASA, grassroots, NASA Rally Sports is where we started. And they have a really good program, a novice driver program, that teaches you things and keeps you interested and keeps you coming back. And both, all the rally communities, I was real surprised about the racing community in general, about how close-knit most of the different venues are, and how drivers, and crews help everybody out. And rally's unique in a point that the car in front of you is racing, and I'm his safety net.
Mm-hmm.
So if he goes off the road, I'm the one stopping to help him. I'm the one stopping to pull him out the ditch.
Yep.
If our times aren't too close, they're stuck and my times are close, I'm just going to wait for let the next guy pick them up. But
Yeah.
Of course, if there's a red cross out, we'll always stop. But
Right. For sure. No, listen, and me and my son watch rally racing videos from Europe all the time. We just World Rally, our W was WRC. We watch it all the time. So, but Tony, listen, we are in the last 30 seconds of the show, so thank you very much for being on. We're so looking forward to it, and we will be sure to catch up here shortly.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Well, Race and Fields fans, that was Tony Lacy and Jimmy Sprecher before him, two of our great race car drivers. They really were instrumental in making two major events go on last week as if it was no problem. Check us out, www.raceforheroes.org, and I will see you all next week right here on WVOX. Thanks.